My course load consists of 4 AP courses.
AP Bio, AP Calc, AP Lang.
I take about 3 AP classes.
I'm taking 3 AP classes right now, which is pretty light for someone in my program.
I wake up around 5:30, get to school. I leave the house around 6:40, get to school about 7:20-ish. Go to school. Depending on if I work or not, I go to work from 3 to 10, but if I don't work, I go home. I usually relax for about an hour, then I do about homework for about 3-4 hours, depending on the workload, and then I'm normally in bed by 11.
My peers definitely influence what classes I take. Since I was in 3rd grade or something, everyone's been taking the same classes as me, and if they continue to challenge themselves, I don't want to be the one who falls behind, so I challenge myself too.
There's a lot of pressure to take more AP classes, especially in the CAP program, and to take more challenging classes, especially going into junior year, knowing that you're going to be applying to some pretty competitive colleges. You're going to need to have your course load look as impressive as possible.
My AP teachers seem to think that I only take one class, so they assign me hours of homework. I don't have other classes with more homework and more tests.
I think we have an epidemic of anxiety in our young people today. I think that whether it's because we're getting better at diagnosing anxiety and depression, or because the pressure and the stakes are really high for kids today, I think we're seeing record numbers of kids who are suffering in great ways. And it's a travesty. It's really sad.
Just like the life I live, I never stop doing something. It's always, you go to school, you go home for 30 minutes, get all your stuff together, and you go straight to dance, then you come back and you do your work, go to sleep for about 4 hours, and repeat the same thing every single day.
On average, a week, I would say I get about 15 hours of sleep, which is really, really bad. I don't sleep a lot. It's not so much that I don't sleep a lot every night. It's the fact that I wake up in and out of the night. I wake up thinking about assignments, about if I missed a deadline or not. I get worried and I don't want to go to sleep because I'm afraid I'm going to miss a deadline.
It's just so tiring and so difficult to stay awake and keep my energy flowing throughout the day, and to actually be able to focus with such little amount of sleep that I get. This year I took AP Environmental Science. My counselor told me that if I didn't take physics, I would have to take AP Environmental because it just wouldn't look good on my application. I actually wanted to take forensics or anatomy this year, but counselor was just telling me, no, colleges are going to look bad upon it, and it's not going to reflect well upon you, and especially you being this honor student. You should take this class, challenge yourself, even if you don't like it, just push yourself to do it. Also, being in the environment I am at home, my parents are constantly pushing me to achieve greatness and to work a lot harder than most people have to, just because I've seen everything that they've done in their lives and how hard they've worked to get me where I am. So I feel as though I am, at the same time, should be pushing myself to take advantage of the opportunities that they have given me too.
For us, being in Montgomery County is very different than the county that I grew up in. That parents very much feel the need to make sure their kids are in those courses in order for them to succeed. So I think as parents, you feel a little bit more pressure to make sure your kids are in the right classes and having the best teachers.
If you were looking at a typical high school student's schedule, you'd see them taking maybe 4 AP classes sometimes. And if you were taking 4 college level classes and you were in college, you would have class for part of the day, but then you'd have a lot of time to study and prepare. And we don't give our high school students time to do the studying and the preparation and the reading that needs to go along with that kind of a high level class. So we're deceiving ourselves if we think that it's realistic that anyone can really learn what is expected to be learned in those higher level classes and take 4 or 5 of them, and start school early in the morning and be in school all day, and then go play a sport and be involved in activities. It's just a big lie, I think.
Don't think I have taken any AP courses because I'm interested in the topic, except for psych, but the rest of them were because I thought they would look good in my application. Basically, my whole high school life, I've been told, like, if I just have good grades, it won't be enough to get me into college. So I had to have an application that stood out, and I thought extracurriculars could help me do that.
If I do get an officer position, or if I do participate for more than 1 year, it's going to look good on a college application to say that I attended a statewide conference. Or you want to make something look good for your college, like extracurriculars and service are super big when you're applying to colleges. So I think that a lot of people have started to do that more so for the way it looks on applications rather than the actual benefits and out of the sheer good nature of someone's heart.
I am a part of a lot of extracurriculars and clubs. I'm on the school basketball team, I'm drum captain in the marching band, I'm the class president, I am in the Black History Month show here for Blair, Sankofa. I am in, I think, 3 honor societies, and I also work with the show choir and the choral department with their music, and I help them play during their concerts.
So when you're doing admissions, you're not just looking at individuals, you're also looking at what you want your class to look like. We were looking for academics, kind of community engagement, and it could be not just necessarily community service, but leadership. It's just kind of that, are you giving back to the community that you're in, whether it's in your high school or whether in the greater community, that sort of thing. Students can go overboard, parents can go overboard in terms of what they're taking on, especially when you have a lot of choices. Just because you can do something doesn't mean you should do it necessarily, and you don't have to do it. So I basically got to take whatever I wanted. So I kind of followed my interests, which were in the areas of writing and journalism in that particular area. So by the end, I tailed off of the science and math courses and kind of stuck to writing courses and English courses.
Most of the books that I read were books that I read on my own time.
We took honors classes pretty much from 9th grade on, and usually junior year or senior year we got to take 1 AP class.
I think we got a little out of control with saying they need to take all AP courses, because students should not be taking 5. They're not ready for that, in addition to all their other high school activities. It's just too much.
Yeah, I don't think any of my friends have not taken an AP course.
I've had my fair share of like breakdowns or anxiety attacks because it all does get too much when you go to your calendar and somebody asks you, what are you doing today? And you find out that you're triple booked because you have an honor society meeting and then a marching band meeting, and then you have to work all on the same day.
30% of kids will have suffered from diagnosable anxiety at one point or another in their high school or college career. And I think that kind of pressure that kids are under is extraordinary. I think the implications are that kids aren't studying things they're interested in. They're studying things that they're expected to study. And I think it takes some of the love of learning out for kids in high school.
I have started to put school before everything. And so, especially now that I work, it's school and work, and it's not really any time for friends. I have friends who beg me to go out with them because we never go out anymore. And it's kind of because like I have all of these priorities, and just like my social life isn't really one of them anymore.
The increase in substance abuse, I think it's the way that kids take care of the stress that they feel, just on the weekends or evenings, before school, whatever, some kind, getting high, drinking, whatever. I think that goes up because when you give kids unrealistic amounts of work to do and unrealistic amounts of pressure, then they don't have anything else but shortcuts that then are, just not good for their health or anything.
It's a lot. If you think about it, a student our age should not be this stressed all the time. We shouldn't have days on end where we just are worrying about schoolwork rather than our own happiness, that kind of thing. We're in high school, we're teenagers. It should be fun. Most of the time it's not fun.
But I've got to believe that there are ways that we can do this where we can still give our children the best high quality education and not give them 6 hours of homework a night or send them home with a weekend where all they do is hit the books.
In the competitive season where colleges are looking for who's the best of the best, I think a lot of parents are depending on APs to really push their child forward. But when it comes to the students themselves, I think students would appreciate not having APs, because what AP and honor classes have done is it's created a divide, and it's kind of separated us as students into the academic elite and those who are not so good at academics. So I think it would kind of close that gap, and it would give everybody a chance to be in the classroom together.
You can throw a dart on a map and you're going to find an excellent university or college. They're graduating so many qualified PhDs right now that they can't find jobs. And so you know you're going to have good professors. There's so much information now that students can find a good college no matter what their interest is.
And we have to figure out how we can lower the pressure, otherwise we're going to lose an entire generation of kids to mental health challenges who are going to suffer. There's got to be a different way. There's got to be a different way.